ISUPK Oakland Brotherhood class. Tonight we're gonna, for lack of a better expression, do a lot of storytelling. So I'm gonna try to get through these verses as quickly and as well explained as possible. Be sure to subscribe to all ISUPK social media pages. Go to ISUPK.com, pay your tithes, give your donations. Be prepared for the Passover coming up April 24th. It's going to be in Texas this year. So make sure you pay your Passover fee early, or at the door, but early is best. Shalom, Yahabashim. Before that is Purim, which will be coming up in February. So once again, just check all ISUPK social media pages, and you'll be informed on when things is going down. All right. So obviously it's Tuesday, so we're going to be doing Brotherhood. Speaking on Brotherhood. Brotherhood is sisterhood. Sisterhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. These are interchangeable phrases that we all need to learn to live by. If brotherhood is your mindset, if sisterhood is your mindset, we can squash problems before they even become problems, because we're informed on the issue and how to deal with the matter rather than revenge, you know what I'm saying, and treat each other unfair. All right. So the first place we're going to go is Matthew chapter 22 and verse 36. Salakia for the lighting. Probably could have plugged something up, but there you go. Matter of fact, give me a moment. Not that you want to stare at me like that, but for production purposes. Oh yeah, that's much better. All right. So Matthew chapter 22, verse 36. It reads, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? So this is one of the Pharisees coming to Christ after he didn't cut the Sadducees. Yahweh, as is written, Jesus said unto them, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God, or Yahweh thy power, with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. So of all things, you got to love the Lord, and to love the Lord is to keep his commandments. So you gotta get out of this sexual affair with God, and if he ain't making you happy, he ain't your God. You know what I'm saying? And only when things are good, that's when the Lord is your God. But when it's all bad and you asking why, if he don't give you the answer you want, now God don't exist. You got to get out of this unnecessary Christian mindset, because it's what's preventing you from believing in God. And you have to believe in the Most High, because if you don't believe in the Most High, then how in the hell do you even exist? Yeah, which came first, the chicken or the egg? The Lord. You know what I'm saying? The chicken didn't create itself. The egg didn't create itself. So someone, or in this case, the Most High, created you. And you have to get out of this this carnal mindset when it comes to the Lord. You got to treat him like he's the creator of the universe. And the creator of the universe gives a damn about you. So you should give a damn about the creator of the universe, instead of treating him like a boyfriend or a girlfriend that you can just be with and not with based on how you feel about it. All right. Verse 38, Matthew chapter 22. This is the first and great commandment. That's the first one and the great one. You got to love the Most High with all of you. You got to recognize that your existence is because of the Lord, and love him because you exist. Don't treat him like somebody you can just turn off and turn on. He's the creator of everything. So you need to learn to respect him and reverence him like that. Stop treating him like something you don't have to believe in or like or care about. Your whole mindset has to be on serving the Lord. When you err, you have to know that the Lord took account of that. Even if in your sight you're nothing, it was an angel is giving a report on what you decide to err about. So take your life seriously and stop treating your life like it's something you can just throw away and do whatever the hell you want to do, because that's how you feel in that moment. All right. Verse 39. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So if you could love the Most High with all your spirit, which means you're going to follow his rules and keep his laws, and you can love your neighbor, which is another Israelite, another Latino, Native American, black person. If you could love them the way you would love yourself, would you cheat on yourself? No. Would you lie to yourself? No. Would you kill yourself? No. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not going to do these things to yourself, don't do it to your brother. Don't do it to your sister. You have to wear that mindset as the same way we wear a beard, as a badge of honor. You know what I'm saying? It's not something you could just shave. You can't shave your love for the Lord and your love for your brothers with a razor blade and just keep doing it every day. You have to always think about your brother more than yourself. Think about your sister more than yourself, unless your actions reflect that. All right. So from there, let's go to John chapter 15 and verse 12. Brotherhood is the biggest thing. It's what the law is. The law is brotherhood. The law is thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not commit adultery. If you understand what these things mean and you live by that standard, you're going to show brotherhood, because you'll know something about somebody, and you'll know, all right, I ain't gonna do this because I know that situation. Or just how you shop, you'll shop in a way that says, all right, I don't eat this and I wouldn't serve any of my brothers that type of food. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people have family members in the world. So the family member in the world, they eat pork, and you gonna buy them pork just because they with you. Like, you can't be that way. If you're not gonna eat the pork, don't buy the pork for them. You know what I'm saying? All right, John chapter 15, verse 12. This is Christ speaking. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. And what did Christ do? Christ came and taught blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans how to love the Most High. He told us, like, think not that I came to destroy the law or the prophet. So Christ came and said, that thing that they're teaching you, or this lifestyle that you're living right now, where you're not keeping the law, that's not what I came to tell you to keep doing. You have to keep this law that you have never known. You got to start living this lifestyle that you never knew, because the people that are in charge, they haven't been doing it for you. They haven't been leading you right. All right. Once again, he said, this is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. You got to teach. You got to live a lifestyle that shows people that you live by the law. You have to be in a position to help people understand how they're supposed to be, even in America, even in the UK, even in South America, even in Canada, wherever you are, Africa, you know what I'm saying? Wherever you are, you have to live by that standard that shows other Israelites, this is how I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be this type of brother. I'm supposed to be this type of sister. And that can't ever change. That can't never be, like I said, it can never be razor bladed out of your mind. You know what I'm saying? You can't constantly lead a lifestyle where you're constantly cutting, your brothers off and not loving them with a razor blade to your heart. All right. Keep going. Verse 13. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you. So it's not just because you believe in Christ or you plead the blood of Jesus. You gotta lead a lifestyle that shows like you was raised by Christ. Like you live a lifestyle that proves like Christ dwells with you. He dwells with your decision making. He dwells with what you celebrate. He dwells with who you befriend. He dwells with how you do business. And especially, he dwells with the type of brotherhood you show towards your neighbor and how you deal with these other nations. You can't love your oppressor but hate your brother. That don't make no damn sense. Christ, even out of his own mouth, said it's not meat or good to give the food that's meant for the children to the dogs. You know, so you can't love another nation more than you love your own people. That's backwards. You gotta love your own people and hate these other nations with a perfect hatred, a pure hatred that will only cause you to do business and minimal transactions with them outside of that. That's got to be your mindset. Because a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters, they get money and they move out of hood. Like this is one sister on all them social media. She be like, I'm a rich bitch. You know what I'm saying? She walk around with me. She funny as hell. But that's a common mindset with black folks. Like now that I got money, I'm not black no more. I'm nothing like you, and I'll die before I ever come into a situation where I gotta be like you. You gotta reverse your mindset. All right. All right. From there, let's go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 38. All right. Christ said, "Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you." And Christ is an austere man. Like that's another thing you got to get out your mind. You got to stop thinking Christ is some sucker, man. Christ ain't no goddamn sucker. He ain't somebody you could just play with. Just like the Most High. You can't play with the Most High. You can't play with Christ. All right. You can't treat him like he don't mind. No, he care. He Christ is gangster. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no Crip. He ain't no blood. He's a real gangster. You know what I'm saying? And keeping these laws is as gangster as it gets because it requires you to be something peculiar. The world wants to turn a black man into a thug and a drug dealer and a drug user and a murderer. And it wants to turn our women into prostitutes and abortionists, women that get abortions, wants to turn our women into women that hate men and are all about being a lesbian. They want to do that, but you got to flip that script and be more feminine and be more a woman and be more submissive to a man and be more of what the world doesn't want you to be. Wear your dress longer, wrap your head tighter, do all the things you need to do that preserve you. Be more virtuous. I'm a rib over here with a business right now, building a company. You know what I'm saying? She putting her hand to the spindle and she turning it. She making sure her merchandise is good. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to just be a nag. You know what I'm saying? You want to be valuable, value yourself, and don't let this society make you blonde your hair and blue your eyes and shorten your dress all the way up to the panty line. Don't let this society destroy you. All right. And if you do that, we'll know that you a friend of Christ because you're doing what he's commanding you to do. All right, Matthew chapter 5 and verse 38. Ye have heard that it have been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. So in our law, if somebody pokes your eye out, you get to poke their eye out. If somebody knock your tooth out, you get to knock their tooth out. That's what's in our law. So Christ is quoting it. So you've heard. All right, because you ain't read it, but you heard about this, and we love to hear how we can get back on somebody. You know what I'm saying? You have heard that it have been said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. 39. But I say unto you that ye resist not evil. And that's real hard for a lot of people to understand because many people don't understand the law, or should I say, they've never been given the proper breakdown. You've been taught by the wrong people. But in the Israelite school, universal practical knowledge, you learn the correct way. You find out something that might seem simple or might seem difficult. It might be just the opposite. You know what I'm saying? So right here it says, Verse 39, but I say unto you that ye resist not evil. Like, we don't resist doing the evil. Somebody poke us in the eye, we can't wait to poke them in the eye. We don't resist evil. If I don't have an eye and now you don't have an eye, what good came out of that situation? Now we both one-eyed bandits. You know what I'm saying? We need each other now more than ever, because you got to be my left eye and I got to be your right eye. You know what I'm saying? We don't resist the evil. You know what I'm saying? But I say unto you that you resist not evil. But whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn him the other also. Like, that's what you got to do. You have to. There's another portion of the scripture that people don't get. So let me break it all down from the top. Back to verse 38. Ye have heard that it have been said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you that ye resist not evil. Like, you don't resist that evil of returning a favor for a favor, negative. All right. But whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek. All right. So boom, you don't resist evil. You always want to do the evil thing. But this is what Christ is saying. But whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, bow. Left, whichever, whoever smites you on the right cheek, bow. Turn to him the other also. It don't mean let him hit you on the other cheek. Just like kissing in the Bible don't mean you smooching on somebody's neck. Or what do they say when they said Judas said, the one I kiss, him take. And he said, Judas came up to Christ and I think they said he kissed him. You know what I'm saying? And people like, you gonna trade on me, but it ain't that. You know what I'm saying? A kiss is a pound. It's touching. It's a touch. It's not touching with the lips. You understand? So when it says, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also, meaning turn a new leaf. He did you wrong. She did you wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be something that's forgivable, not just anything. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be something that you can actually forgive somebody for, and turn the other cheek. Forget about what happened before. All right? Resist evil. You don't resist evil. Christ is saying resist the evil. Somebody poked your eye out. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel like now you got to poke their eye out. You know what I'm saying? Somebody knock your tooth out. Don't feel like you kicked me in the nuts, I deserve to kick you in the nuts. Like, and they gotta, whatever happened, it happened to you, maybe during a fight, maybe during a situation, but you gotta I gotta be able to do it right to you. You know what I'm saying? You kicked me and I didn't see it coming. You got me. But you gotta spread your legs open, let me get a running start, and bow. You know what I'm saying? You gotta resist evil. So turn that other cheek, meaning give him a chance, you know what I'm saying, to not do the same thing he did to your right. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I forgive you. You messed me up. Man, you messed me over, but I'm not going to hold that against you. He says, Salakia, I'll forgive you. Let's keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Don't go to him. Don't get all in his face like, come on. You want to take that from me too? Take that from me as well. Don't be like that. But, get away from this person. Like, all right, well, it's a thief. Just don't hold the grudge against them, because you know what type of person they are. All right. Matthew chapter 18, verse 21 will be our next verse. All right. So when it comes to, dealing with our people, we got to do for our people what we do for our oppressor without even thinking. Our oppressors have systematically institutionalized us into, what's that term? Into a Stockholm state of mind, to where they've done the most horrible things to us, and we're quick to be like, no, I forgive you, Mr. Oppressor. Yeah, that was your ancestors. That wasn't you. You know what I'm saying? We'll forgive them until, like I said, until your hair stops being curly, or a certain type of straight, until it's just dog texture. You're a Mexican with that nice hair, a Native American with that nice hair, but now it's dog. And your eyes used to be brown or hazel. Now they just blue out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll change and give them chance after chance after chance after chance. But when it comes to our own people, it's like you cut off forever. You know what I'm saying? We gotta turn the other cheek and realize we all in the same hell, which is probably why the wicked thing happened to us. You know what I'm saying? Or was done. Because we all just trying to get by, and not everybody got the same wisdom. But if we thought like this as a nation to forgive each other, we would get out of our poor state, because black people wouldn't be shooting other black people, Latins, Native Americans wouldn't be killing each other. We would look at each other with love rather than looking at our oppressor with all the love and giving them all the chances we should be giving to our own brothers and sisters. All right. Matthew chapter 18, verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times? 22. Yahushua said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Like, you gotta, Christ is like, man, just you stop trying to figure out what it takes, how many times before you can just cut a brother off. I have a mindset that can't nobody cross me that many times in their lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Okay, no sign, Grace. Can't nobody like if you think like 7 times, you'd be like, all right, he crossed me. You'll do a count. All right, he did it this time, and it was that other time. Yep, okay, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just cross me one more time, and then we done. You ain't never my brother. You gotta get that mindset. That's what Christ was saying. Like, you like 7 times, you like 70 and 7 times. Like, it's too many times. You gotta forgive your brother as many times as lawfully possible, man. If your brother, like I said, if it's something that is forgivable, you better off forgiving that brother. You better off forgiving that sister. Something that ain't forgivable, that's where you get the counsel. Like, I don't know if I can forgive this brother, this sister for that. And that's what the Israelite School UPK is for. When those type of situations come up, we can tackle them and decide, like, is this something that's forgivable, or is this a trespass that need to be taken care of? But many of the things that we cut each other off for, when you find out what it all boils down to, it's absolutely forgivable. It's absolutely, let's squash this. And that's the mindset that we have to have. We have to have the mindset to squash our beefs. And that's what Christ was talking about. He's all about ending the division between Latinos, Black people, and natives. That's what it's all about. All right. So from there to a great story. It's going to take all of our time. So let's go to Genesis chapter 37. We have a gang of scriptures to read, but it's the story of Joseph and how his brothers sold him into Egypt, and how even though they did a horrible wickedness, how the Lord turned it around, and how Joseph was able to turn his cheek and forgive his brothers 70 times 7 times, and was able to love the Lord with all his spirit, you know what I'm saying, all his mind, you know what I'm saying, and was able to love his brother as himself. So if you know the story, you know it was some serpentining, because Joseph, he had to test his brothers, he had to, get a little bit of payback. But when it's all said and done, he did one of the most brotherly and amazing things of his time in that day. All right, so let's see what we can do. Genesis chapter 37 and verse 1. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, and his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report, because his brothers, they like to slack off a lot. They wasn't all about the business of what their father wanted them to do. They was like, yeah, we'll do our thing, but oh man, you ain't here. Let's do what we want to do while we doing it. You know what I'm saying? Verse 3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. So, he made him a fly jacket because he was the son he had when he was an older man. Well, you're older man, you can still have a kid. You're like, man, this kid's amazing and wonderful. You got the time to spend with him and all that type of stuff. All right. Verse 4. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. Like, they hated that their father loved him so much that they couldn't even speak nice to him. Much like some of David's brothers, when he went onto that battlefield to fight against Goliath, brother was like, man, how you hear about this? Aren't you supposed to be tending to the damn sheep, our father's sheep? Like, yeah, something, they had something cheeky to say, rather just, saluting and being kind to your brother. All right. Verse 5. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. So he got a gift to have dreams and interpret them. And he tells it to his brothers, and they hate him because just for having a gift, he's hated by his own brothers. You know what I'm saying? And just that's life. Sometimes you're just good at something and your other brothers ain't good at it. Other sisters ain't as good at what you do. And instead of being like her glory or his glory is my glory, they just decide to go left with it and be like, I hate you. I can't even talk nice to you. You know what I'm saying? And conspire to, like Selena. You know what I'm saying? All of that, and kill the sister. And she got a voice of, golden water and stuff like that. And all that love. And I know there's more to it than what they show in the movie. But it's like, goddamn, why would you kill somebody because they can sing? Or, whatever, you know what I'm saying? All right. So, verse 6. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheaf. So a sheaf is barley. When you just line up the barley, wrap it up. So he's saying that his stood up and his other brothers bowed before it. All right. Verse 8. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. Like, he just telling them what the dream meant. What the dream was. And they interpreted like, is this what you're saying? That's what it means? And they just like, I cannot stand this nigga. That's how they felt about him, just because of his gift. And because it didn't work out to where they were on top. And he the youngest at the time. So they just like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I don't like this brother at all. All right, verse 13. Now, slack. Drop down to verse 11. Genesis 37 and 11. And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the same. So another dream that he had right up there was that he was going to be above all the stars, which was his brothers, his mother, and his father. So while his brothers got mad, his father was like, I think he's saying something right here. Let me pay attention to this. All right, verse 13. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock at Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here am I. Verse 14. And he said unto him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he went. So he sent him out to the out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. 16. And he said, I seek my brothers. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. 17. And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. 18. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. So they hate their brother so much because of his talent, his ability to interpret these dreams. His father loved him more than them. It made him a badass coat. You know what I'm saying? And when they see him just far off, they like, yeah, let's kill this brother. Let's kill this nigga, man. I'm done with him. Because you know what he come here to do? He come here to snitch on us because we ain't where we're supposed to be. He came here he gonna tell our father that we over here in Dothan when we supposed to be in Shechem. And I'm sick of this brother and his damn dreams and his coat. Like they just saying all of the worst things possibly that could be said about their brother who loves them. All right, let's keep going. 19. And they said one to another, behold, this dreamer coming. Like that was his talent, was breaking down dreams or telling dreams, and they actually come to pass. So they're like, here comes this dreamer. 20. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say, some evil beasts have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. Because like I said, he had that dream where he was saying, like, I'm going to be over you. Y'all gonna bow down before me. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna see if that happens once we toss him in this pit and see if he really this bad dreamer that he claimed to be. All right. 21. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him. So he's like, man, this the hell? Reuben was the oldest. You know what I'm saying? So he hearing what his brothers is talking about. He's like, man, we can't be doing that. So he was speaking to him about in a way to change their mind about what they want, what they plan to do. All right. Verse 22. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into the pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might and cast no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. Like he didn't want to kill his little brother. And he was speaking in a way, if you read that, it has a semicolon to let you know that the reason he said it was because he was trying to save his brother from being killed. Verse 23. And it came to pass when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, where was no water in it. So this is just a barren well, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying, a big enough place where you could toss somebody, set up a trap. But in this case, it was empty with no water in it. All right, so most likely it's a well. All right, 25. And they sat down to eat bread. So they tossed him in this hole, and they just going about like, we did it, man. Got the jacket off of him. We good to go, man. He in that pit. His dreams ain't about to come to pass no more. Let's eat. All right. And they sat down to eat bread. And they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were consent. So Judah was like, you know what I'm saying? Look, let's make some money off of it. You know, if we kill him, his blood gonna be in our hands, man. We don't have to live with that. So his other brothers like, all right, kind of sound good to me. Let's do that. All right, they were content with it. 28. Then they passed by Then there passed by Midianites merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. That's like cheaper than what Christ got sold for. You know what I'm saying? And they brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit. And he rent his clothes. Like he was like, all right, I'm gonna go do my thing. I'll come back. I'll get him out of there. By the time Reuben get back, his brothers have already did the work. They pulled him out of that pit, but they sold him to the Midianites. And now this brother is a slave going into Egypt. All right, verse 30. And he returned unto his brethren and said, child is not, and I whither shall I go? And they took, like, he like, man, how am I going to explain this? Where's our brother at? I can't explain where he at. That's all they're trying to say. Where is he at? All right, excuse me. And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of the goats and dipped the coat in the blood. 32. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father. and said, "This have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no." So, they made it look like a beast, like they said earlier. Let's make it look like some wild beast and slew him. So he got sold off. They just killed a goat, drained the blood on the coat, and presented it to their father. Like, are you know if this is your son's coat? Is this our brother's coat? Damn, they're mocking him. You know what I'm saying? 33. And he knew it and said, "It is my son's coat. And evil beasts have devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces." And Jacob rent his clothes and put sackcloth upon his loins and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and his daughters rose up to comfort him. But he refused to be comforted. And he said, "For I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning." Slacky, unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. So he's like, "Man, I'm just going to die like this, man. I don't even care no more. My son that I love so much then got tore up in pieces by an animal." Like this. Just think, that's like when, for lack of, it's like thinking your child died only to find out that they had been kidnapped the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And you thinking, but you was told like, yeah, he's dead or she's dead. The whole time he ain't never been dead. He's just carried away off somewhere, and in this situation, forced to live a life that you didn't know they were living. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, "Man, I'll see him again when I die." It's pretty much how he felt. You know what I'm saying? So everybody trying to comfort him, make him feel good. He like, it's pointless. I'll never feel good. You know what I'm saying? Verse 36. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's and captain of the guard. So they get him in Egypt. Now he in Potiphar's house. So we're going to jump down from there to Genesis chapter 39. So if you know everything about what happened in chapter 38, this is his time in Potiphar's house. He wise in Potiphar's eyes. Potiphar put him over his house. It's just Joseph, Joseph is the father of the Puerto Ricans and the Cubans. All right. So in his time, he's always been, oh yeah, no sweat. Shalom, shalom. So in his time, he's always in a position of power. He's always just great because the Lord gave him that gift to discern dreams and to know how to take care of business. And when he was in Potiphar's house, Potiphar had his wife was trying to get down with him. Joseph keeping the law about not sleeping with another man's woman and not sleeping with a woman outside of your nation. He would not lay with this woman, and she's like, I'll tell him you raped. So she grabbed Joseph by his clothes. They tore off. He ran out of that situation butt naked. She said, "Look, he tried to rape me. Here's the clothes." Potiphar found out. He like, "Man, I ain't trying to sleep with this woman, man. She lying." But he's a slave, and of course he's gonna believe his wife, and got him in a worse predicament than he was already in. All right, Genesis chapter 39 and verse 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. Drop down to verse 20. And Joseph's master took him and put him in the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. Verse 21. Now the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison. And whatsoever they did, it's like whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. Like he's always running stuff, which lets you know that brother in the truth, it don't matter where we at, we'll run the show. You know what I'm saying? If we go to prison, we'll take over the prison. When you have the mindset that wherever I go, I will control, I will become the alpha in the situation, there's not a negative thing that can happen that you won't just ultimately take over. And that's how it was for Joseph. Joseph was in Potiphar's house. He was running things. And then when he was put in the prison, he was still running things. And nothing changed about Joseph just because his estate changed. And that's another thing that's good for blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians to understand. Just because you in a lower state, meaning you ain't making all the bread, you ain't living at the top floor of wherever you want to go, that don't change the fact that you are glorious or something to be feared or someone to be honored. You understand? All right. So verse 23, the keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because Yahweh, or because the Lord was with him. And that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. All right. So anything Joseph did, he had the Midas touch, basically. All right. So Genesis chapter 41. All right. So when you read chapter 40, it talks about his time in that prison. And it talks about Pharaoh. He had a butler and a baker. Joseph, he discerned the dream and got the baker got hung, and the butler was returned back to being the butler. And before he, got out, Joseph was like, "Look, when you get set up, man, just remember me." But the Egyptian, he was just happy to be out of the prison at that point, so he forgot about Joseph. All right. So now, chapter 41, verse 1. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years. So he went in there. Older, he was 17, now he's 19. All right, 2 years in this horrible situation. He done got disrespected, sold into slavery by his brother. Then went through Potiphar's house in prison and just waiting on some clemency, waiting on somebody to be like, no, this is a good brother right here. We did the wrong thing by imprisoning him. So it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. Drop down to verse 9. So that's a dream. It was talking about he had some calves that was looking good and some calves that was looking bad. He had green ears and he had ears of corn that looked like it was blasted in the wind. All right. So verse 9. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my fault this day. Verse 10. Pharaoh was wroth with his servant and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, servant of the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream, he did interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh said and called, sent and called Joseph. And they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. So he's young, so he probably don't have a beard at this point, but it's Egyptian culture to just shave your whole face and head and just be bald. So he changed out of his whatever he was in, he in the prison, but he kind of like balling in there. So they just changed his clothes. So he ain't looking like a prisoner. You know what I'm saying? So he came in unto Pharaoh, verse 15. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. Verse 16. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. So he giving the Lord reverence, like it's not me. It's the Lord working through me. You know what I'm saying? And this is before the laws were written down. You know what I'm saying? This is when you were being taught by your father. And these times have to return. We have to teach our children. I got 3 of them running around here right now, but I'm gonna teach them. They need to know if whether they read it or they're taught it. It needs to be given to them. You know what I'm saying? And Joseph was fortunate to have his father Yasha'Allah, Israel, Prince of the Power, teach him how to be. Even in his situation, he knew how to be. All right, we in America, even in America, we got to keep the Lord's law. Even in the UK, we got to keep the Lord's law. Even in prison, we got to keep the Lord's laws. Wherever we at, even on your slavery, you got to keep the Lord's laws. They having them little Christmas parties and them Valentine parties, man. You ain't gotta participate. Even if you gotta be there, you ain't gotta participate. Just gotta be there, but you ain't gotta eat the damn what's that cheese and ham that they be serving. Just because you're there, don't mean you gotta eat the food. Just be there because you're on the clock or you're in an administrative position. You can't leave. All right, but that's the mindset that has to be taught. It's not gonna come out. It's not gonna drop out of the sky. Everything has to be taught to us. All right. So from there, drop down to verse 33. So now he done explained the dream to Joseph. Joseph giving him interpretation, saying this means gonna be some plenteous years. This means it's gonna be some years that are so bad you're gonna forget about the years that were good. All right, and that's what this COVID-19 did. You forgot how good you had it back then. Now it's like I had a good year. Man, I lost my job last year. Yeah, I can't think. I used to work. God, man, I was working all them years. Now it don't even feel like I worked because I'm broke now because I spent all my savings, everything in months or 12 months to be exact. No, 9 months. All right. You'll forget about how good it was when it gets real bad. And that's what the dream was. Like it's so bad. Like, you're going to forget how much increase you got when this famine hits. All right. So verse 33, Genesis chapter 41. Now, therefore, let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this and let him appoint officers over the land and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. Verse 35. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh and let them keep food in the cities. And the food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. So he telling like, this is what you got to do. You're going to have to store this corn to the maximum so that when the bad years come, you'll still be able to eat. All right. Verse 38. And Pharaoh said unto his servant, can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God have showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. 40. Thou shalt be over there. Back up. Lights. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. Like this brother takes charge, and not by taking charge the aggressive, see my chest sticks out more than yours way. He took charge with wisdom. Wisdom is a defense. Money is a defense, but wisdom is greater. And the wisdom that the Lord gave him, he put it to use. And that's how the Lord can work in your life. You put the wisdom he give you and apply it to your lifestyle and your life choices, you'll be running things before you know it. You understand? And that's what's happening to Joseph. Joseph wasn't like, put me in charge. Joseph was like, find a man that can do the things that I'm telling you to do. Pharaoh's like, man, ain't nobody as bad as you, man. You do. How he right under Pharaoh. Only thing Pharaoh got is the throne. But he vice president, basically. All right. Verse 41. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the 2nd chariot which he had. And they cried before him, bow the knee. And he made him rule over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zephaniah, and he gave him a wife, Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he took before Pharaoh, when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. So this man, since he was 17, he has been away from his family. Now he has been separated because of the horrible act that his brothers committed. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, that's crazy right there, man. Like just think about it. If you lost that many years of your life because of how your brothers did. Hey, stop. All right. You know, but he did it, and while it was happening, it wasn't like he was losing. You know, he was maintaining his culture. He was doing what he's supposed to do. And at the same time, the Lord was still blessing him with wisdom that was allowing him to go above and beyond where his brothers could have never expected. His brothers sold him into Egypt, and they did not expect any good to come out of it. But he ended up being the ones that saved the whole damn world in that time. Either go upstairs or go to your mama. All right. So let's keep going. All right, verse 57. So like it dropped down to verse 57. And all the countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because the famine was so sore in all the land. So as you read those verses above, you start seeing how. Go upstairs. Nehemiah, go upstairs. All right, then be quiet. All right. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all the land. So it got so bad that the whole world. Are you in the Oakland camp, or are you? Which camp are you in? Whichever camp you're in, you want to talk to the camp leader. If you part of the Oakland camp, you can call. You can give me a call. I will drop my. It's on the video. 707-704-0556. If you're in the Oakland area. If you're in a different area, you want to contact. You want to contact the camp leader in that area. So that's all really to it. If you're in my area, shoot me a text, and I can give you further information. But if you're in a different state, or if you're in Los Angeles, or if you're in Pacific Northwest, wherever you at, that determines who would be in charge of that. All right. So from here, let's go to Genesis chapter 42 and verse 1. Like I said, Lord willing, I get through all the things I want to read, but the end result is understanding that this brother suffered something, but he didn't use it to turn his back on his people. And that's how you have to be when it's all said and done. You cannot turn your back on your people just because you were wronged by your family. Your family ain't the world. That person that did you wrong isn't every Black, Latino, and Native American. If you have the power to save your people, you should use that power and save your people. Get them out of this hell. And at that time, it was a famine throughout all the world. It's like and Joseph saved us. And in this time, we in the midst of a famine and a pestilence. And Commander Junior Hunter and Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge is what's going to save us. It ain't gonna save everybody, but it will save Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans if they submit their will to righteousness. Stop trying to lean on to what they can do. All right. So Genesis chapter 32 and verse 1. Now, when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do you look one upon another? So they like, man, how are we gonna make this thing happen? So like, man, it's corn in Egypt. What y'all doing here? All right. And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. So these on damn near what 15, 16 years have gone by. He's still, probably just messed up because he's still mourning his son being gone. Whole time his son is running things, you know what I'm saying, over in Egypt. Cream corn. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's like it. And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob said not with his brethren, for he said, least peradventure mischief befall him. So he got PTSD, man. He's still worried, like, man, I didn't. Okay. Oh, okay, Most High Christ. Let me read that. So what you would do if she's like in the classes checking in with specifically me, that's one thing. But since it's your rib, you'll get your name and you can name it. You know what I'm saying? But you can get assistance with that too. All right. So once you get your trooper, you become a trooper, you get your name. Either you can get assistance with naming her, you know what I'm saying, which is common to do. Or, you know what I'm saying, when you feel like, all right, I'm ready, I've learned enough, and I feel like this is what I want to name my rib. You say, this is what I want to name her, and we'll just make sure that it's, correct and not, I'm saying, a misspelling or misuse of the word. Make sure it's feminine, not the masculine version of the word. All right. All right. Boom. All right, verse 5, Genesis chapter 32. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. So, so everybody black. Everybody got some skin color in the land of Canaan. Ain't no white people ruling Egypt the way they teach us 4,000 years later. You know what I'm saying? 6,000 years later, however long it is. Now everybody white. But back then, when no white folks in the land of Canaan, it's hot over there. Sunscreen would have been the top commodity if it was white people in that part of the world. Shit, I think that Egypt is it far from the equator? North of the equator, but it's still still the land of hot heat, African heat. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no white people there. All right, so he the governor of the land, and the famine is so bad that everybody got to come to Egypt because of Joseph's wisdom. He set it up to where there was food in the midst of a famine. The same way Commander Junior Hunter is setting up food in the midst of a famine. You know what I'm saying? We're the cure in the midst of a pestilence. All right. Verse 7. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them. But I think I skipped something. Nope. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spoke roughly unto them. And he said unto them, whence come you? And they said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. So they don't even know it's him, you know what I'm saying? But he being mean, you know what I'm saying? Let's picture that, you know what I'm saying? Somebody, they threw him in a pit and sold him into slavery. But it's his fam. So he just like, y'all, look at y'all. Y'all here for the food, huh? So he just, he just being rough with him. As I say, he just being rough with him. He gonna take care of him because he got brotherhood. But he ain't gonna just be like, hey, hi guys, it's me. See how I'm doing? I'm doing better. I'm living my best life here in Egypt as a governor. Number 2 in the Pharaoh. He wasn't doing that. He's like, oh, okay, y'all here? I'm gonna play this little game, all right? Verse 8. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he had dreamed of them. and said unto them, Ye are spies. To see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all one man's son. We are true men. Thy servants are not spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the son of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. Like, God, come on, man. Like, that's some heavy stuff right there. Like, you the one that they said it is not. I could go into a story, but you the one that they saying ain't existed no more, and they talking to you. Like, that's paradoxical in a way, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, what the hell? What the hell is happening? It's like, damn, I can't even really compare it to nothing. You know, black people have hard lives, but you know, when we do good, you know, everybody knows then. But they don't even know it's their brother because he decked out like an Egyptian right now, and they thought, you know, he's some slave now. He can't be the governor in the land that we sold him. All right. Verse 14. And Joseph said unto them, That is that I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh, ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely ye are spies. So he's like, you know, he giving it back, you know what I'm saying? But it's still, but what you gonna understand as we keep reading, he wasn't doing anything really bad. Nothing compared to what they did to him. Like, they wanted to kill him. He just, you know, play in the desert with them because they don't know it's him. But he's still just like, look, I'm gonna still give y'all the runaround. You know what I'm saying? So from there, let's go to Genesis chapter 43 and verse 15. All right. I ain't gonna say he did it childishly, because you know he a grown man at this point, you know what I'm saying? But damn, he ain't seen his brothers in 15 odd years, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I got the power to kill and make alive, in a sense. He ain't God, of course, but he have authority in Egypt to be like, okay, what I say goes. And he was the man about it, man. All right. So verse 15, Genesis chapter 43. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. So I forgot which back. I believe it was Reuben. You can just read up. It'll tell you which brother back. He said, look, Pops, we went to Egypt to get some food, and the governor, man, he spoke roughly to us and was saying we were spies. We're like, no, we true men. We the sons of one man. One of them is at home, the other one ain't. But he said, like, our brothers can't get back unless we bring Benjamin. And Jacob is like, man, why the hell would you promise something like that? He's like, at the time, I didn't know he was gonna say that. But at this point, I can't leave without this boy. So they coming back with double presents and with Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? All right, verse 16. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, Bring these men home and slay and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. Like, he knows this is his family. So he taking care of them. You know, he put them through the ringer, but he like, man, these my folk. I ain't about to you know, do them wrong when it's all said and done. So he about to sit and slay the food, kill the animal, and they're gonna eat with me today. All right. Like, it's just like a horrible family reunion, you know what I'm saying? For lack of a better word, it's like, yeah, but they still don't know it's him. They just think, what the hell is going on with this governor dude? He mean one day, nice the next, whatever, man. I gotta do it. Damn. All right. So, all right, verse 17. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time we brought in, because when they brought the food, he put the money that they spent to get the food back into their sacks. And when they got back to Pop's house, they like, what the hell? They said what they said, then they opened the thing up and they like, oh, we really jammed up. He done forced me to come back with my youngest brother, and he done gave up the food. He gave us the money that we spent. Something is going, like he's just messing with their heads this whole time. All right. And continue to read verse 18. Because of the money that, so they scared because they going to his house. So they saying, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, fall upon us, and take us for bondmen and our asses. So obviously, a homosexual is going to think it's talking about homosexuality. It's talking about the donkeys they rode in, dummy. You understand? So they like, man, he gonna kill us if we go in his house. That's what he doing this all for. All right, verse 19. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house. 20. And said, "O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, and we come to the end, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we had brought it again in our hand. And other money had been brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks." 23. And he said, "Peace be to you." And he said, "Fear not, your power, the power of your father, have given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money." And he brought Simeon out from them. So he held Simeon until they got back. Now they all in Joseph's, like in Joseph's crib. Like come on, man. Like you and your brother, you put him in the pit. Now you in his house. Like, yeah, come and see me. Here's other brother. Y'all good. I put that money back in there. Like he when he said he was going to rule over his brothers and they was going to show obeisance to him, that dream is coming to pass right before their eyes, whether they knew it or not. And at this point, obviously, they didn't know. Verse 24. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. 25. And they made ready the present against Joseph. Came at Slack. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house and bowed themselves to him to the earth, like he said they was gonna do. He said in the dream he had he said the other stars was going to bow before them or reverence him. That's happening right now. All right, they bow themselves to the earth before him, like they want mercy. Please don't kill us and rob us. All right. 27. And he said, and he asked them of their welfare and said, "Is your father well, the old man of whom ye spake? Is he yet alive?" And they answered, "Thy servant, our father, is in good health. He is yet alive." And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. So what that tell you about Hebrews and Egyptians? Or what that tell you about black people and Africans? The fact that they brother is sitting right in front of them, talking to them, through water. The fact that they brother is sitting right in front of them and talking to them, it's like how they can't tell. Because it's not hard to look like an African. Why you think Christ fled into Africa? I mean, why you think Joseph and Mary fled into Africa? You know what I'm saying? Because we can blend in with Africans. It ain't strange. We not Africans, but you could pass it off. Look at every slave movie. What's that sister's name? The Lupita what? Lupita Nyong'o. She look African to me, but to white people, she's just they're all African. No, we different people, but we can blend in. So they sitting right in front of their brother who they grew up with for 15 years, 16, 17 years. They hated him for almost all of them years, and yet he's sitting right in front of them in Egyptian garb, and they can't even tell it's him. They worried about living at this point. All right. Verse 29, Genesis chapter 43. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother, of whom ye spake unto me? So of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. So the reason it said his mother's son is because our forefather Jacob had 4 wives. So he had Rachel, Leah, Zilpah, and Bilhah. So this specific son was the seed of his mother. So they had the same mama. All of them had the same daddy, but both of these brothers had the same mama. So he was like, man, I ain't seen this brother. It's good to see him. All right. Verse 30. And Joseph made haste, for his vows did yearn upon his brother. Like he wanted to just like, brother. You know what I'm saying? And he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber and wept there. So he just like all right, let me try to think of some movie type of. I'll be right back. And then he just walked off. You know what I'm saying? Wailing, just crying, like, oh my God, I got to see. You know, he emotional at this moment because he's seeing his younger brother. You know what I'm saying? Verse 31. And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, Set on bread. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians, we did not eat with him, which did not eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. So throughout history, is Africans have separated themselves from us. So why are we connecting ourselves to people that would never eat with us? And ain't nothing changed. America make you think the world has changed, but the world has not changed. The world is segregated as hell. People don't like other people in their land, and people love their own people. America make you feel like you're wrong for only loving your people, but it's backwards. And in this time, Joseph, he knew he was the chief segregationist of that time, because he knew that he could put his brothers in a place, his family in a place where the Egyptians would leave him alone, because it's an abomination. It's wicked and disgusting for an African to eat with a black person. All right. 33. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another, they're just blown away by what's happening to them, that they not dying, they eating, and it's like, what the hell? We sitting in order, like, what's going on? All right. 34. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him, but Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs, and they drank and were merry with them. So, a bunch of food. He just had more food than the other ones, because that was his brother. All right. And that's the one that didn't have nothing to do with him getting captured and put in that horrible situation. All right. So from there, let's go to Genesis chapter 44. 44 and 1. All right. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth, and put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. So he's still not done with it. He's like, yeah, I got one more stunt to really drive this thing home with y'all. Verse 4. And when they were gone out of the city and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, Wherefore has ye rewarded evil for good? Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth? Ye have done evil in so doing. And he overtook them, and he spake unto them these same words. And they said unto him, Wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. Like, we would never do what you just say. We would never reward evil for good. Y'all your damn mind? Behold, the money which we found in our sacks' mouths, we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? 9. which whomsoever of thy with whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be thy Lord's bondmen. Verse 12. And he searched and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes and loaded laded every man his ass, and returned to the city. So they was like, oh, they tearing their clothes up, got on the damn donkey and going right back to Egypt. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, they like, Benjamin, why would, like, I ain't do it. What the hell you talking about? Because it's all Joseph doing his final 1-2 with his brothers, you know what I'm saying? Getting them back, you know what I'm saying? But when it's all said and done, he ain't never did a evil thing to him. Or he just psychologically messing them up, because they definitely psychologically damaged him for the past 15 years. He's a 30-year-old man now. All right. Verse 14. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, what deed is this that ye have done? Wot ye not that such a man as I certainly divine? And Joseph said, what shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? So he's basically saying, like, that's my cup, man. That's where I do all my spells and stuff. You don't think I would do that type of stuff? And Judah said, what shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servant, both we and he also with whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do so. But the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. So they like, look, we'll all just be your servant. Look, we did damn. Look, we're just all your servant, man. I know I said somebody got to die, but look, we'll just all be your servant. Joseph like, nope. Because Joseph knows his father. He knew his father loved him more than his other brothers. And he knew he loved him because, he was like, man, I like you. I'll tell your other brothers, man, but man, I had you as an old man. You a good looking brother, boy, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a son of being an old man. So Benjamin is younger than him. So he really just like, man, I know this man. So Joseph is like, I know he gonna love him. So let me play this trick a little bit on him one more time. So he's like, nah, y'all go back. Y'all go in peace. I'm gonna keep the one in which the cup was found in. All right. So verse 18, Genesis chapter 44. Then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ear, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant. For thou art even as Pharaoh. Like, he is up there. He giving them all due respect right now. 19. My Lord asked his servant, saying, have ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my Lord, we have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. 21. And thou saidest unto thy servant, bring him down unto me, that I may set my eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, the lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And thou saidest unto thy servants, except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall not see my face no more. Slaki, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto thy servant, my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, go again and buy us a little food. And we said, we cannot go down if our youngest brother be with Slaki. We cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then we will go down. For we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. So when you read further before, Slaki, when you read before, they left Simeon, came back and was, damn, our brother's still there. But when it got down, it was like, when the food got lower, it's like, all right, go back to Egypt for the food. And he was like, we can't go back if we don't bring Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? So he's explaining everything that has happened, because he's trying to save his brother Benjamin, knowing it's going to kill a father if they come back And Benjamin is going, it's going to take him all the way back to when Joseph, you know what I'm saying, left. He probably going to kill himself, they feel like. All right, because like they say, he's going to die if we don't come back with him. All right, verse 27. And thy servant, my father, said unto us, ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons, and the one went out from me. And I said, surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. 29. And ye take this also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Like, I'm gonna be destroyed, is what he told him. Y'all gonna kill me if he don't come back with y'all. Verse 30. Now, therefore, when I come to thy servant, my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die. And thy servant shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now, therefore, I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father. So he over here made an excellent speech to the governor of Egypt, not knowing, like, he was talking to his own brother that he had no problem killing so many years ago. You know what I'm saying? But Joseph is seeing the love that his brothers actually do have in their spirits. Like, he could tell that they feel bad for what they did to him those years ago, the way that they're fighting to save Benjamin's life as well as their father's life. All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 45. This is going to be it, but it's the whole chapter. It's a lot. All right, Genesis chapter 45, verse 1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before. It's like, then Joseph could not refrain himself before all of them that stood by him. And he cried, cause every man to go out from me. And they stood not, and there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brothers. And he wept aloud. And the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. They just like, what the hell? Like, they just dumbfounded, like, what is going on right now? Like, they was and they was troubled, like, oh snap. You know what I'm saying? Damn, it's like a ghost that came back to life all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? Verse 4. And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. He didn't like let him get away with it. He just be like, it's just me. Like, I'm the one y'all sold. You know what I'm saying? People should be charged for what they do to you. You know what I'm saying? These is his brothers. He ain't charging them like we charge our oppressor. But, be like, yeah, you messed me up, man. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still strong. Verse 5. Now, therefore, be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you of posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, yeah, I know y'all did me wrong, but man, the Lord did. Like, it's like what Christians say, but realistically this time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, you sold me into this captivity, but the Lord set it up for me to turn around and save y'all lives. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening to us in America. We in this captivity, but the Lord is raising up men and women that are going to serve him. And those men and women that are going to serve the Lord is going to get that mercy that's going to allow all of us to get salvation from the Lord through Christ. You know what I'm saying? But it takes it takes somebody turning that cheek and not saying, well, they did me wrong, then to hell with them. And when they come to Egypt, oh, this is my chance to kill them. This is my chance to put them in prison and let them rot. Joseph was like, man, the Lord didn't turn my situation all the way around, and now I can actually save. All right. So Genesis chapter 45, verse 8. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but Yahweh. And he have made me a father to Pharaoh, and Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste ye, and go up to my father, and say unto him, thus saith thy son Joseph, God have made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not, and thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen. Which is why Joseph is such a wise brother. He made sure that we dwelt separately from the Egyptians. And when you read further into the chapters, you'll see that he made us give our registry as herdsmen so that we would be segregated from the Egyptians. So they would be like, why ain't you living with us? They herdsmen, ugh. They deal with cattle and sheep and stuff like that. Ugh, that's abomination. Well, they over there in Goshen. Goshen was the best plot of land in Egypt. How did Joseph know? Because he's a father to Pharaoh and ruler over all the land, so he knows the best parts, and he set it up so that they can get in Goshen. All right, go back to where I was. Verse 10, and thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household, and all that thou hast, come to poverty. Verse 12, and behold, your eyes see, in the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt. Salaki, can you close the doors on? No, thank you. Verse 14. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren. Once again, he didn't smooch him on the cheek. He didn't smooch him on the neck. He just pounded all his brothers out. Hey, most high Christ, most high Christ. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they wouldn't say most high Christ back then, but you know what I'm saying? You know, most high. You know what I'm saying? All right. Or Alahayim, you know what I'm saying? They were saying something, but they was pounding each other. You know what I'm saying? Giving them the dap. All right. The dap is 4,000 years old, man. It didn't start with COVID-19. Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans been doing it forever. All right. Verse 15, moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them. And after that, his brethren talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come. And it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, say unto thy brethren, this do ye, lay your beast and go and get you into the land of Canaan, and take your father and your household, and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. Now now thou art commanded, this do ye, take you wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. Also regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment. But to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment. He loved his little brother. You know what I'm saying? That's for you big brothers. Love your little brothers. Give him your clothes. All right. Verse 23. And to his father he sent after this manner: 10 asses laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 she asses laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, see that ye fall not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father. And he told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governing over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. Like he was like, man, y'all bulls, man. He was just taken away, like this can't be real. Like that, like that video of the dude when his son be like, I want you to go. It was like, not like that, but you know what I'm saying. He was just like, I can't believe this is happening. All right, verse 27. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob, their father, revived. And Israel said, it is enough. Joseph, my son, is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die. So yeah, he was out of it. But then when he saw that the wagons came from his son, he was like, oh yeah, this is real, man. This real. And now, you know what I'm saying? Not only is my son alive, I want to go see him before I die. Like he has spent so many years missing his son and grieving and thinking that a beast tore his son apart, when the whole time his son was saving the goddamn planet at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason all of this goodness could happen to us, even in Egypt, even in a land of people that we were segregated from, the scriptures say when a man's ways please the Lord, even his enemies, you know what I'm saying, shall be at peace with him. You know what I'm saying? So even in America, if we didn't seek the love of white people, but we sought the love of blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and realized how important that love is and how necessary that love is, and instead of forgiving every white man for what his ancestors did, or what the cop that killed George Floyd did, or forgive the cops that killed Breonna Taylor, or forgive the cops that made sure that Corinne Gaines died, if we would stop forgiving them and separate from them and start forgiving each other and drawing closer to each other, like the scriptures say, gather together, O nation not desired, we'll put ourselves in a position where we can save our nation the same way Joseph did. Joseph saved his nation by choosing brotherhood over revenge. Joseph saved his nation by choosing to serve the God that created the heavens and the earth over serving himself. Understand? And that wisdom that he got from his father is the reason why we were able to live wonderfully in Egypt at that time, until a new Pharaoh came that did not know of the great acts of Joseph. You understand? But with that, in this class, Salakia.
Leave the doors alone.
ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK under Commander Junior Hanna. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, it's found in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means tenth in Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund is a free will offering for the priest, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. I believe I had the flyer. One momentito. Salakia. Let's see. One second. Purim is coming up February 25th and 26th. starting at sundown. It's the 14th and 15th day of the 12th month. It can be found in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 through 31. Any brother that wants to become a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, pants, shirt, headband, or scarf. With that, to the brothers, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakathum. To the sisters, Shalom, Yahweh Shemar Latham, Bashem Yahweh Shai.